How do you cope with being a loser in your mid-30s? I have had a few friends in this boat. I just want to tell people on this thread, nobody else is looking at you as critically as you're looking at yourself. You can end up in a place you don't like, where you're not happy and you're not fulfilled, without that making you a loser. Your circumstances aren't a reflection of your character, even though they feel that way. Life's a game you can't lose it until you quit playing, and you get to make up the win criteria. No one else can do that for you. Went back to school and got a degree in what I wanted to do. Got divorced, moved, starting living my life on my terms instead of always putting other people first. I actually got the degree I wanted to. This is the whole problem. My idealism in my 20s screwed me in my 30s. I think this is the crucible many adults go through. Some are either driven or lucky enough to survive their 20s unscathed and just continue on with adulthood. But for many of us, the mistakes of our 20s make our 30s a reckoning. Like Bowie, crossroads are a chance to transform ourselves into something better. But as most of us aren't superstars, it's hard to know what to do and how to pick up the pieces in order to turn ourselves into a more mature, capable, connected version of our former selves. I know this from painful personal experience. I flunked out of college for being stupid enough to join a fraternity, knowing full well how easily distracted I am. I couldn't hold down a crappy job because, well, they were all crappy. Fortunately, I had passed enough college classes before driving my academic career off a cliff, and was likable enough to do well at an interview for a job that was not hard labor, nor fast food, nor retail, for a decent, but not extravagant, salary. It really helped me get my crap together to work in a normal office environment. From there I felt more optimistic, which made me a bit more bearable to be around. So I made some good friends and met my future, so I headed into my 40s in much better shape than when I crashed into my 30s. I'm not saying a job is the answer, but there are circumstances of some sort: job, school, self-improvement, volunteering, entrepreneurial out there somewhere that are right for your temperament, that won't slowly crush your soul, that will lead you to be more connected with people and more proud of yourself. Finding it is the tough part. Not meaning to get spiritual, but I've known many people whose situation found them as opposed to them having to find it. So stay open to possibilities. Best for now to keep an optimistic outlook and resolve to be the best you that you can be every day, regardless of your circumstances. Dude, I think you need therapy. Looking through your post history, I can see that you've got a PhD in mole bio. You're making progress physically, but you're wallowing in self-pity. You have all the ingredients to find success professionally, romantically, and socially, but you are limiting yourself because of your mindset. Get the help you need and succeed in life. Understand yourself and your circumstances. It might help to find a professional therapist. Therapists help guide people. They don't just work with depressed, crazy or suicidal people. To be honest, I didn't have good experience with psychologists. I did several rounds of CBT, but it didn't really help. Only antidepressants were helpful for some time. I want to offer something different from these other comments. A couple of years back, I was prescribed antidepressants, mainly cause my sleep was crappy. Then, about a year ago, I had a breakup. It sucked, but after 2-3 weeks of feeling miserable, I decided to self-boost the dose by 50%. Within 48 hours I felt fine. In the next 8 months I built a crappy 2-man business into a more substantial middle-sized business. In December, I decided to go off the meds. Suddenly, the magic was gone. I was cold, and though I'd built some positive momentum, I wasn't able to maintain it. And even though business is better, I'm back in loser mode. Needless to say, I'm restarting the meds. All I mean to say is, I never thought there was anything wrong with me until I stopped the meds and noticed the difference. And sometimes help can come from external sources. Also, for anyone asking, the drug is mirtazapine. Commit small infringements against the label every day. Every little thing you do that isn't a thing a loser would do, like exercising, or reading a book, or eating healthy, or getting up early, or kicking a bad habit, or donating to a charity. These are all your own tiny acts of rebellion against your own self-appointed identity. And once you commit those rebellions, they are yours forever, and nobody can take them away from you. Every little thing you do that isn't a thing a loser would do, like exercising, or reading a book, or eating healthy, or getting up early, or kicking a bad habit, or donating to a charity. I'm doing all that. I eat healthy. I drink a lot of water. I am fit. I read an hour a day. My room is clean. I am still fundamentally unhappy. 30? Bro, you're still young. My fiance's mom was a drug addict with 2 children at the age of 16. Today, she is an RN on a covered unit making $100K a year after a few years of school. The only time you're wasting now is feeling bad about not doing something earlier. Do something now. It dang sure ain't too late. You're 30. You're fine. Mate, there is a difference between 30 and 16. One of the best transitions I made into being a fully functional adult is teaching myself how to create my own motivation. Your outlook is negative. You can expect nothing but negativity to influence your reactions and impulses, which can deter you from success. Think about walking into a job interview that you don't think you're going to get. You don't put your best foot forward. I turned 30 last November, and I can tell you that a tiny me expected to be much more successful than I am currently, but that's okay. My attitude was very bad for a long time. I was angry at myself. I was angry at others for thinking they contributed to my position in life, and it felt awful thinking I was stuck not because of my own inability, but outside influences holding me back. All of it is bulls. It sounds like to me that you've confined yourself to yourself. Don't be disappointed in your journey. It's unique and fruitful, but you have to continue chasing and setting goals for yourself, and properly rewarding yourself. I found time yesterday to get all of the dishes in the sink clean while caring for my 11-month-old son alone. That's a freaking achievement. I got myself a little glass of bourbon after the boy went to bed as a reward for getting that extra effort put in. The action itself on its own is meaningless, but the reason I put behind it made it a reward. You see? Set some small goals that will contribute to your bigger goals, and never stop reaching for them and rewarding yourself for each step. That's how I found success in creating motivation out of thin air. Basically dog training myself. Thank you. My dude, my father did nothing but work at a carpenter shop until he was 35. He didn't even went to college. He only went to school until 5th grade and then dropped it. He bought a rat hole of an apartment and thought he will live the rest like this. Until he found my mother. After that everything changed. What I am trying to say is that life can change at any moment. If you don't have any friends, maybe you will get some. If you don't like your job, maybe you will find a better one. You are only in your 30s. If technology continues to improve like this, maybe you will live past 100. There is a long path ahead of you. A rough start does not mean it will always be rough. Take care. I just got started when I was 30. I had fun and traveled when I was young. I set some attainable goals when I was 30 and revisited them daily. A little bit each day, month, year begins to add up. I did take some big career chances too, which paid off. Probably because I was setting and reviewing goals. I'm somewhat comfortable now at 51, but at any age, I'm always going to think I can do more, be more and better. Contentment is not complacency. Draw a map and follow it, but leave room to go off the path in a healthy way. Thanks for this, man. This is inspiring. I'm 34 and I don't have much yet. I had a tough 20s, but I'm working on it and super optimistic. I think a lot nowadays about how long life is and how many exciting things are still waiting. Good to know I'll probably still feel that way in a couple decades. I'm 37, single for the last 5 or 7 years, live at my parents', have no friends, have an art degree and work for Airbnb cleaning condos. Might sound loserish if you're thinking purely economically, but I'm quite fulfilled. I've got several hobbies that keep me busy. I've learned to cook. I camp on most weekends. I paint pictures just for the joy of it. I take hundreds of landscape photos per week. I just keep myself busy with productive things and don't let work run my life. I find it quite satisfying. I got divorced in my mid-30s. I was dealing with opiate addiction. I was deeply in debt. I was in trouble at work. Things were not good. However, I had a plan. I kept my head down and did what needed to be done. I accepted help from people who offered it and I met my wife. I paid off my debt. I kept my job and performed better. I stuck to my recovery program. Now things are really good. My only regrets are A, I wasted so much money on drugs and wish I had invested it instead. B, I didn't have children earlier in life. Although the sort of women I was dating, children would have been a bad idea. My point is a lot can change in 5 years. Put your head down and work at it steadily. Make good decisions. You will be fine. Sincere congratulations on your success. I am a loser almost twice your age. Once upon a time I wanted to be a medical doctor, but I couldn't do that. Then I wanted to be a professional writer, but I couldn't do that either. I got a little lucky, because I wandered into software development and now I make an okay living. Granted, just above poverty level by Silicon Valley standards, but I am still a loser. I survived because I managed to find things I love. I love languages, particularly the Japanese language. I love baking good pastry. I love reading good science fiction novels, when I can find them, which seems to be harder and harder these days. I love to travel, which also has become harder and harder with COVID-19. But I hope that changes. I am still a loser. I will never have an important influence on anyone's life. I will never make any scientific discoveries, write any great novels, or influence the course of human history. When I die, everything I was and everything I did will be immediately forgotten, and life will go on as though I never existed. But today I'm alive. I'm going to go out for a walk and enjoy the sunny day. I'm going to spend several more hours writing some C++ code. I'm going to read a book, Ready Player 2, by Ernest Cline, obviously the sequel to Ready Player 1. I'm going to make a good pizza for dinner and share it with my girlfriend. I'm going to watch the evening news in Japanese and French. For me, it's enough to fill my life doing things I love. You have a very wise, realistic outlook on life. Just wanted to say. I'm 37 and just went back to college in 2020 for another degree. The self-loathing of being stuck in a rut was really bad and I knew I needed to do something. I am late to this party, sorry, but I am 36 and have 3 kids, a loving wife, and am a stay-at-home dad. Dude, I envy you sometimes. Minus my kids and wife, they are my world. You are in shape, have a PhD and have 0 holds on you. Go live your life, bud. I don't have retirement, no career, a bull's bachelor's degree I never used and 40k in student loans. If we saw each other in public we'd be envious of each other, dude. Comparison is the theft of joy. Accept that you are average and that it is not a big deal. Our education often had this narrative that you need to achieve something, be the one, do awesome stuff. But first, only few people will be lucky enough to do that. And secondly, there's no meaning in that too. Life is useless. We are just puppets to the socio-economics forces which make history with or without us. So I think what you need is mostly to accept how all our lives are meaningless and average. Enjoy your hobby and make friends through them. Having some fun without suffering is the only thing we can do while waiting for death. This is actually strangely consoling. Change jobs, move cities, make new friends, relationships, or stay the course. But if you want change, you will need to be the one who brings it about. Why are people so judgmental? If someone says their job is a dead end, your 5 seconds Google search isn't gonna solve any problems. Also, as an undergrad in this area, I have seen so many of my seniors struggle. Socially, economically and emotionally. Rather than giving your expert advice, try just supporting a guy for once. Few off-the-cuff thoughts. 1. I work in financial services and there are lots of folks doing various things that didn't major in finance. In fact, I know 2 geology PhDs that are now very successful analysts for investment costs. So, perhaps your knowledge could be used in this industry, either directly as an analyst covering biotech costs etc. or indirectly working with data since you're probably well acclimated to interrogating large datasets. I will say that the former is tougher to break in but can be very fun and lucrative if you do. 2. Do a LinkedIn search. Not for jobs but for people with similar academic credentials to you that have jobs outside the norm for your academic pedigree. Send notes to the ones that sound especially interesting, successful, and explain you're trying to reinvent your career and would love to chat for 15 minutes to hear about their path to where they're at. You might not only gain valuable perspective doing this, but if they're impressed with you it could lead to potential jobs through their connections. As for whether they'll give you time, I can tell you that I'm very successful in my job and I'd 100% take 15 minutes, or 30, to talk to someone that approaches me like that. 3. Keep your head up. I think having some meaningful and decently compensated work will make a difference for you. Things like raises, promotions, paying off debt, watching 401k and investments grow over time have provided a really nice morale boost, and you're not at all too late to see the same. A little lengthier than I intended, but hopefully some of that is marginally helpful. It's still science. You aren't working in an Amazon warehouse. Don't be so dramatic. Delve into your passions. Through clubs etc. People look past all sorts of social anxiety issues if you are just as passionate as they are about a hobby. A quick look at your profile says that you are smart, PhD, have a job in science, ripped, get a bit of perspective. You've obviously been able to channel dedication into parts of your life. You need to be more positive and start doing those things around people. A science PhD might sound cool, but the job situation in the medical sciences isn't great. I currently make 50k in a high-call area. Honestly, man, don't compare yourself to others. Don't cope with it. Take some steps to improve your life to the point you will be happy at. No matter how small, any progress is a step towards that goal that needs to be celebrated. You got this, dude. Some years of therapy and then started uni again. I'm my mid-30, still on it, but it is going really nice and already landed a fantastic job in the field with good perspective for the future. Nothing I had imagined back in my early 20s, but here we are. Act now and start pursuing the career you want. Never too late to start if you enjoy it. Get on a dating app and build some confidence. Everyone else is re-emerging from isolating inside for a year. The social playing field now is as level as it ever will be. Ride the coattails of 2021. As the year gets better and as COVID leaves the picture, you can eliminate that bad feeling and its causes rather than just cope with it. Get on a dating app and build some confidence. All dating apps did was destroy my confidence even more. Well, I did a drastic career change in my early 30s. You just have to accept that the path you're on isn't going anywhere and begin to envision what you want life to be. And then how do you get there? A couple of big caveats. Number 1, don't sweat the details because much is going to be determined by chance. Number 2, it won't be easy, and in fact unless you're lucky it won't be pretty at times. You're in your mid-30s. You have time, but you don't want to be hating life in your mid-40s. Yo, 29. PhD and ensuing mental health issues here. Yeah, frick science. Once you get chewed the and spat out by that dirty mother sucker, you're pretty much ruined. Try doing your own crap. Stock market? Got any weird hobbies you're passionate about and could make money from? Go into the third sector? I personally just give up. Success is a social construct and by extension so is failure. No one calls TLA line a failure because it sleeps 18 hours a day. GG, go next. Frick science. Early 30s here. I started in sociology, went for big data, and hated every single second on it. Living with parents, undoubtable, but at least I had a few friends. Swapped career. I started as oil mechanic, got the crane operator license. Now I run my own business and I am in the deal for a new home. It's kind of fricked up to say, but 2020 it's been a great year for me. Best advice I can give is frick your actual field. You don't own it, nothing, and shouldn't let it anchor you. Don't fricking cope with it. Do something. Best of luck, mate. NGL. It sounds like you are baiting. Pro. PhD in molecular biology, cell biology. Ripped, yet working out makes you depressed because you see little progress. Reads a lot. Money on the side. Moved around a lot. -4 languages. Cons. Virgin. Autistic as frick. I've seen girls throw themselves over for just 2 of the above pros. No matter the cons. Heck, even if you were convicted of something it won't bother them. The fact that you have no luck in that regard with all the listed above, and I bet there is more, is concerning. Either you give them mad serial killer vibes or, I have no idea. Way too high standards for being that degree of autistic, but people are super superficial and won't even notice if you have enough halo effect going on. And a PhD and being ripped should be more than enough in that regard. I'd like to add, I don't get any swipes. But online dating is cruel for most men. So I am not worried about that. My problems is that I cannot attract people in a real life setting. I don't have a game. I don't have flow. I don't have chemistry. I don't believe you. The pic alone posted would get you plenty. If anything, then just out of curiosity, I could take your pic and write PhD in molecular biology with nothing more and would get 100 likes. I read a lot narcissistic personality in what you write, which you are trying to serve as cluelessness. I could be wrong though, but that's the vibe I am getting from you. I work as a food operations director at a rehab facility in a city, Chicago. I've learned a lot from many of the patients I cook for and work with. Most, if not all, have spent a lot of time in jail. The most important thing I've learned is that it's never too late to make yourself better. It's never ever too late to find something new and make yourself happy. I work with a woman who is a recovering crack addict. She's been sober for about 9 years. She's 67 and today she asked me to show her how to make a roux so she could start cooking for her great granddaughter. That made me happy. So yeah, being in your 30s and feeling like a failure isn't such a big deal. You got a lot of time to figure it out. Chin up, nose to the grindstone, and you will work it out. I've always wanted to try welding. I might take a class and change my profession. I'm 32 so I can do that. Not sure you will read this as there are over 2k comments already, but I'll throw this out there in case you read it or anyone else reads it who might benefit. The fastest way to depression and self-hatred is to compare yourself to other people. Humans are not products on an assembly line subject to quality assurance checks and a reject bin. Give yourself lots of understanding and empathy for how things have gone. Your life may not be what you want it to be, but you have the power to make changes to better yourself. I was where you are at 5 years ago, and I'm in a much better place now. You can do it. It may take time, but take small steps every time you can. I was in a similar situation a few years ago, in a job I hated, no real relationship prospects, and the few friends I had were slowly being alienated as I was sliding into antisocial behavior. I won't lie to you, it's a hard turnaround to make. You will need to take a hard, honest look at yourself and your life and identify what the cause of your problems are. In my case, I blamed most of the people close to me for the fact that I felt stuck in a career I didn't want when I was the cause of most of my issues. The best advice I can give is take it a day at a time. Acknowledge when you slip or screw up and keep trying to move forward. Change what you can to change and never accept less than your best from yourself. Don't be afraid of making big changes so long as you make sure to prepare for any shortfalls or other consequences. Most importantly, remember this: we are all winging it, no one has everything figured out, and if you make your best effort in what you do, it will eventually be noticed. Smoke weed every day. Find a job where you can be high all the time. Find a woman who loves weed and smoke with her. Move somewhere cool. Go on vacations. Start a new hobby. Get a dog. Rob a bank. Smuggle hard drugs. Be your own boss. Get good practice in your 20s, teens and childhood. Don't judge yourself by society's standards and live the one life you can with as much joy as possible. What's the point in being miserable? It's never too late, I guess. Just takes the drive to go out and do it. That spark you had as a kid has to carry over into adulthood in order to compete with adults that have active sparks. Try taking up a trade. A few people I know have gone that route after their original careers died out and have been enjoying it so far. They're electricians and get great benefits, time off, and decent pay. Might be worth looking into. Just recently got into my career of nursing at 32. Finished my first year. I was in the same boat. Do what makes you happy at the moment. Find a hobby, get into a new career, and get a little out of your comfort zone. It's a day-by-day process. I still have a ton I want to work on, but have noticed my life has improved by just going for it. I believe in you. Be kind to yourself. Don't think things that might drag you down. Don't think things about yourself that you wouldn't say to everyone you meet. Keep your chin up, your shoulders back, and smile at other people. You will be amazed at how this will help you. Of course, you still have the work of getting it together, but if you feel good, you will do better. What would make you happy? Making more money? Having more free time, or getting laid more? I have a master's in bio and worked for US Dept of the Interior before pivoting to teaching HS at a private school. I make more than you are saying you make, live in LA, and the job isn't super demanding and I get vacations. Was a good move for me. PM me if you'd like advice on moving into teaching. Good luck, my friend. Science is still interesting to me, but I can agree it's underpaid and undervalued in many ways. Was never married but bought a home with a GF and it didn't work out. Sold my home and ate a big cost. Now filing for custody and focusing on self-improvement and my career as well as fitness. Reading your replies made me realize that you're living the life I'm planning for in my 30s. Scientist, physically fit, moving to different countries, and it just terrifies me how disappointed you are. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.